Welcome to your weekly program, Balahdan, a show with an accent for those without one. You know, we have the Super Bowl yesterday, and the Patriots finally did it, and Seahawks, hard luck. While millions of people are watching the Super Bowl, the Sisi recruited millions of other terrorists. He classified brigades as a terrorist group. Before that, Hamas were classified as a terrorist group according to Sisi, and before that, Brotherhood, about 10 million Egyptians were classified as terrorist organization. That means Sisi is the biggest terrorist recruiter in the world. When you have millions of people overnight become terrorists, it seems like the West is looking the other way about the atrocities committed in Egypt, and it's now military fascism. A lot of talk about what's going on in the Middle East, also Israel. We have here, a Palestinian American was born here, and he went to visit Israel to document the life of the Palestinians over there, and just the daily life, and bring it back to the American people so they actually see what the Palestinians go through on a daily basis. We have here Sabry Wazwaz. He's an anti-war committee activist here, and he just came back from, I think, 3-4 weeks trip to Israel. Welcome to Balahdan, Sabry. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
I know
Thank
that
you
was
for having
very prompt, that visit. I know you planned for these things, and it's not easy for someone now to go and visit Israel. Take us through.
Well, I have a lot of family there, and I haven't been there for several years, 16 to be exact. And I planned it where, instead of going for just a couple weeks, I planned it to go for 6 weeks and make sure during this trip, a lot of time is set aside for a documentary. I've had in the back of my mind a plan to do a documentary for a few years, and I finally decided it's time. As a person who's lived here my whole life, I consider myself an American. I was born here, I lived here my whole life. I wanted to break the myths and bring the truth, especially to the people in America, because majority of the people outside of America stand with the Palestinian people, which are Christians and Muslims. And it was about time for me to show them the truth. And with this documentary, hopefully it'll be done by the summer after the editing is done, they will get to see for themselves with their own eyes and hear with their own ears what apartheid is, what racism is really, like what it's really about in Israel. The lies they hear from the American media, how Israel's a democracy. The biggest lie, which Israel protects the Christians, is a total big lie. I mean, it's a joke when I hear that. You will see it in my documentary. You will hear Christian leaders of their church. So I want people here, even if they don't have any faith, to see this and open their eyes and open their ears and see the truth and hear it. And then if anybody has any bit of humanity or any bit of compassion in themselves,
common sense,
just to go ahead and stand for the truth.
So take us through it. That's a lot of work doing documentary. How do you select your subjects, places, what conversation you have?
Well, first I had to think really hard about what I wanted in the documentary. And I thought to myself, I need to focus on breaking myths. What is the myth that people here in America hear about Israel? And it's time for me to go ahead and break the myth and expose that lie. For example, one of them is Israel protects the Christians there. Total lie. Christians, their numbers keep going down less and less, and it's because of the apartheid policy Israel has towards anybody who is not Jewish. If you're not Jewish, your life is a living hell. They make it extra hard for you to travel around your own homeland. They steal a lot of your land. They make you second-class citizens. You could be a Christian, be 90 years old, have lived there your entire life, going back to generations through Jesus Christ. I mean, these Christians have lived there through the times of Jesus Christ. Yet, they will have anything they need done difficult for them. For example, I've met a man who's 83 years old, him and his wife. They're Christian, they live in Bethlehem. And they have an apartheid wall running all throughout Bethlehem right now. And they had land on the other side of the wall that was theirs, taken by the government of Israel. Israel went ahead and took that part of the land, won't give it back to them. They're not even allowed to go to Jerusalem. They're Christians. They're not even allowed to go to Jerusalem, to go to the church in Jerusalem. Because if you're a Christian, you don't want to always go to this church nativity. You should have a right to go to the church in Jerusalem. Mm-hmm. They're not allowed. Why? Because they're considered, they have what's called a separate ID. They have an ID they call diffe. They need an ID that's like, they call it Uds, meaning you have an ID that lets you into all throughout the Israel, Palestine.
So the ID are localized by geography or what?
Yeah. If you're Jewish, you could live in Bethlehem, you could live in Hebron, which is the Khalil, Ramallah, you go wherever you want. If you're Jewish and you're from Russia and you just entered Israel just yesterday,
not even born,
you forget about born. You just stepped foot there. You immediately, automatically have full citizenship. You have rights to go wherever you want. You could go into the West Bank. You could go into Israel, wherever you want. But if you're Jewish, if you're not Jewish, if you're Christian or Muslim or any other faith, if you're not Jewish, you don't have those privileges if you live in the West Bank.
So when we hear that Israel, most democratic country,
total joke. I die laughing when I hear that.
And this is not even, when you compare what you say and what we hear or analysis about, this is a Jewish state. That the identity is not based on citizenship, it's based on what your religion is, Jewish state.
That's called apartheid.
Yeah. Then we'll go to ISIS. I know it's extreme case, which is the Islamic State. So when we talk about the Jewish state, when people coming from all over the world, and Americans here go and fight with the Israeli army. European go and fight. Talk about 5,000 Europeans and was fought with Israeli defense or the Israeli army in the last attack on Gaza. But when we see a few Somali or a few people who went to Somalia went to Israel, the whole media is talking about this. And so when you yourself go there and as an American, would it make any difference to you how you see things as opposed to people, Palestinians or somebody else, non-American?
Well,
they treat you differently?
They speak to me in a really rude way, and they try to force me to speak in Hebrew or Arabic. And I keep telling them, but I'm an American, I only speak English. You can't force me to speak Arabic or Hebrew.
What do you mean force you?
They talk to you, whenever you come to a military checkpoint, they don't talk to you in a nice way. They talk to you in a forceful way. Keep in mind, every Israeli soldier has a 4-foot machine gun hanging out from his neck. For example, they don't say, "Can I see your passport?" They do it in a rude way, and they motion to their hand like, so now I'll bring out the passport. And then they'll talk to me in Hebrew, and I'll say, "Look at my passport, I'm an American, I don't speak Hebrew." Then they'll speak to me in Arabic. I'll say, "I only speak English, sir," or "ma'am." And then they'll start asking you some questions, and the same question, they'll repeat it, hoping you get irritated from them because they're really smart in these techniques. And
that's what they do at the airport here too. I think they've been trained by the
Israelis. They held me for 10 hours in the airport when I got to Israel.
And the reason is?
They keep saying it's just a security check. After 6-7 hours, I would call one of the supervisors and I'd say, "Listen, I'm an American. I was born in America. I lived there my whole life. I have family here. I'm just coming to visit family, going back. I was here 3 times in 1998. I never caused any problems. I have nothing in my record to give you any reason to hold me like I'm a terrorist." And they keep saying it's a security check. And I told them, "I'm an American. You're treating me like I'm a terrorist."
So when you keep saying I'm an American, would it make any difference at this point? I mean, they've been treating you inhumane or unjust?
Well, it should.
It doesn't matter if you are just...
I know deep inside they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to send them a message because America is the country that makes them relevant. The military, the aid, the weapons. You know what I mean? It's number one aid. It's the number one recipient of U.S. aid. So my point to them is, you know what I mean? How are you going to treat somebody who's an American, and yet on American media you act like as if you treat, you know what I mean, Americans with hospitality. And eventually, when it got to 8 hours, that's when I knew that they're probably just having a problem with me because of my criticism of them on social media. If you're a democracy, why are you upset if I criticize you on social media? As long as I don't preach violence, which I don't. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm a pacifist. I'm against violence.
You are from anti-war.
I'm in the anti-war committee. I'm against violence of all kind.
Yeah.
And I told the supervisor, I don't just criticize Israel, I criticize all racist government. I'm a Muslim and I criticize almost every Muslim government there is out there. But as long as I don't preach anything violent, why are you upset of me criticizing you? Is it because you don't want people to be exposed to the facts?
So when you're making those arguments, what assumption in your mind? They actually rational people?
No, but I'm trying to show them, I'm trying to make a point to them that I'm not stupid, and I know you guys are afraid of the camera, and I know you guys are worried about me being here, because when they see how much on social media I criticize them, they're worried while I'm inside there, I might be continuing to criticize them.
They know you have a camera?
Oh yeah, because I carry it on me.
Okay. You went by yourself. There wasn't any
by myself
crew or anything.
No, just
so
myself.
You yourself, you are the whole crew.
I'm the whole crew.
You are everything. Yes. I hope you're not even the audience. But and we'll take a short break. We'll continue with this. Sabry Wazwaz, the anti-war committee, just came back from a trip to.